All right, welcome to the Explore section of 1.2.3. It starts off, when finding an equation, it may help to calculate values of the dependent variable for some specific values of the independent variable. Then you can look for a pattern in these calculations. You can use the information given in words, tables of data, and graphs. A says use what you know about linear equations to work out models for the Treetop Fund business. Find an equation for each of the linear functions described below. Number 1, the standard charge per customer at TTF is $25. Write an equation that relates the daily income I to the number N of customers. So when we're thinking about this problem, we need to think about how much money is this company going to charge with different numbers of customers. So if there's one customer, how much do they charge? If there's two customers, how much do they charge? If there's three, how much do they charge? Once we figure out those numbers, we can look for a pattern and see if we can come up with an equation for this problem. Number 2, each TTF site has operating costs of $500 per day. Write an equation that relates daily profit P to the number N of customers. So they're saying that they have $500 a day for operating costs, but they want to know how much profit they make. Now, we don't know how much profit they make until we include the the equation from number 1. They charge $25 per customer, but it costs them $500 per day to operate their business. So we need to combine the first equation that we found with the second equation that we found. So we need to make sure we have number 1 done before we can do number 2. Number 3, one TTF site bought a new rope bridge for $4,500. TTF will make monthly payments of $350 until the bill is paid. Write an equation for the unpaid balance B after M monthly payments. In this case, I'll give you a hint. This one is going to be subtraction when the other ones might be addition. So make sure you're paying off $4,500 and not adding to it. In section B, one operator of a Treetop Fund franchise suggested the group admission fees in the table below. So on the top, we have the number in the group. So one person in the group, 2 people in the group, 3 people in the group, and so on. On the bottom here, we have admission in dollars. So $75, $90, $105, and so on. Number 1 is asking, explain how you know the relationship between the admission fee for a group and the number of people in the group is linear. Now remember, when we were talking about linear, we looked for patterns in the table. And if it was linear, all the numbers would increase or decrease by the same amount every time. Do you see a pattern happening in that table? 2, what are the slope and y-intercept of the graph of the data? So remember, our slope is rise over run. So let me put a note in here for you guys. That is the rise over the run. That is the slope, or the M. The y-intercept is where the graph is when the y equals 0. So where is the y when the x equals 0? Where is the y when the x equals 0? And then what equation relates admission fee A to the number n in the group? So now you're going to take the data from the table and you're going to put that into an equation. Helpful hint: when you're making an equation has both the slope and the y-intercept in it. So once you find the slope and the y-intercept, the equation should be easy. Section C, the owners of Treetop Adventures opened a snack bar at one site. The graph below shows the income from snack sales for 6 different days. What is the equation of the linear model on the graph? So in this problem, they're looking for the equation of the line. So the line is the model. We're not really paying attention right now to the points. What I want you to do is find the equation for the line. Remember to find the slope and the y-intercept. What is that slope and the y-intercept for that line? Section D, suppose you were asked to write an equation of the form y equals mx plus b to represent a linear function. What is your strategy for each situation? So the situations, number one, you are given a description of the function in words. So what is your strategy for finding an equation if you are given a description in words? Number two, you are given two or more x, y values, so coordinates, or a table of x, y values. How would you find the equation if you were just given a table of values? And number three, you're given a graph showing points with coordinates. How do you find the equation if you're just given a graph? Lastly, this last section, E, this is a challenge section, so feel free to do it if you want to. A state mathematics test asks students to find equations for linear functions. Two students, Dana and Chris, gave the answers below. To find an equation for the line with a slope of -3 that passes through the point 4, 3, Dana wrote the following steps. Is he correct? Explain your thinking. And number two, to find an equation for the line that passes through the points 4, 5, and 6, 9, Chris wrote the following steps. Is she correct? Explain. So take a look at those two steps, or those two problems, and see which, if any, are correct. Once you're done with that, you can stop this video and go on to the independent practice.